All right.
Hello, everyone. I am Sahaj Oberoi, the host of the Sahaj Tales podcast, and it is with great pleasure to announce my first guest of the podcast, Chineme Prince. How are you, Chineme?
Hey, I'm good, Sahaj. Thanks for having me, man. I love this. This is amazing. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man. I really appreciate you coming here into the podcast, and I'm so glad that we are able to make this into a reality. And yeah, how's your day
Yeah,
been
man.
going?
My day has been going okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Good weather, so that's lovely. What about you? How's your day been?
My day has been amazing. I mean, I started like helping out my dad as well with with family stuff, family business, and everything. It has been a good
Oh,
time. I'm just keeping myself busy these days. Yeah,
all right. That's exciting. That's lovely to hear, man. Good on
yeah,
you.
yeah. So yeah, tell me, Chineme. So my first question to you is that so I would say, how's your childhood? Like, what was your life like growing up?
Okay, that I was not expecting that, but growing up as a kid, it was really good. I have some really fond memories growing up. I come from a very big family, so I have siblings, I have cousins, I have uncles. So it was always a party at home, and we also had like intimate time with my parents, my younger siblings, and those are things that I cherish and I remember very fondly. So yeah, it was pretty good childhood.
That's great. That's fantastic. And where were you born?
So I was born in a village called Izambo in Ebonyi State in
Zango.
Nigeria. Yeah, Izambo. That's
Nice,
that's my
nice.
village. So I was born there in Ebonyi State in Nigeria before we moved
Yeah,
to the city. Yeah.
it's cool. That's really cool. So it's a very fascinating sort of um, you know
Mm,
way to grow up, and I know, like, you say that sometimes you're happier when your family is with you, and when you're not
yeah.
trapped with all the riches of the world and something without your family. It's sometimes said
Yeah.
that way. It's like, I feel like
Mm,
it holds true here, especially. You know.
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
So yeah. So I wanted to ask you, and yeah. So tell me, uh, so how is the journey coming into Dubai? Like, what made you come here to the UAE? Like, really?
That. Well, that's a really funny story. Oh, I don't know if it's funny, but I had heard about the UAE when I was in university. This was around 2012, 2013, but I never planned on moving
Okay.
here. But then my cousin at the time, he had a restaurant in Dubai, and I was done with university, and he asked me to come over and help him run the place because I was already helping him in Nigeria already. So I mean, I thought about it and I said, oh, the exposure will be nice. And kalas, here I am. And it's been 8 years now.
Oh,
Actually, this month will make it 8 years. So that's my story. It was just like a fun thing that
so you
happened.
have been here since 20. Yeah. What were you
Sorry,
saying?
which part?
You were saying
Yeah. Oh,
something.
yeah. Yeah. I've been in Dubai since 2015. Yes, or 8 years now this month.
Yeah, that's great. 2015. I thought you, for some reason, when we met earlier, I thought you told me that you were here since earlier. I thought you were here since 2013 or something.
No, 2013. That I was still in
Yeah.
university at the time. I was just finishing up university at the time, so I was still in Nigeria, and I school in
Ah, right,
Nigeria.
right. So you
So
study in
yeah,
Nigeria? You study in
yeah, I
Nigeria.
studied in Nigeria. Yeah, yes,
And what did you do? Like,
Lagos,
what course did you
Nigeria.
do? Like, which course did you do?
So
And
yeah, I studied creative arts, and my major was theater arts, which was mostly acting and dance thing. and I also got to learn do music and visual art. So yeah, it was a fun time. So yeah, creative arts. That's what I studied. Yeah,
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So that's really cool. I mean,
thank you.
yeah. I mean, when you study arts, especially like, I mean, I also have this. I've also have had the same experience as you have. Like when you study arts, you get to know the intricate details about many things, and you find many amazing people that you collaborate with, and so many amazing teachers that you always want to keep in touch with, and thank them for their contribution to your development as an artist, which I'll get to later soon. I mean,
Okay.
uh, yeah. So, what kind of restaurant does your brother own in Dubai? Or
Uh,
did he?
so it's so it's a Nigerian restaurant. So we mostly sold Nigerian meals. So like all the Nigerian delicacies that you can think about, we had it. It was a really good place. It really is. So I enjoyed my time there.
That's cool. That's cool. So, I wanted to ask you also, is Nigerian food sweet or like kind of salty or spicy or a little bit like bland or
Nigerian food is never bland. So I mean, there are so many ethnicities in Nigeria, right? So with every ethnicity, they have their own type of meals. So we have a wide variety of meals, and they have the spicy. We have the what was the other word you used? Spicy and what? Not the bland one, not bland. We don't have any bland food in Nigeria. Don't tell any Nigerian that they will kill
bland?
you.
Salty
No,
is the
no.
other word I used.
Yeah, so we have
Salty.
spicy, salty, very delicious meals. So yeah, we have a bit of everything.
That's great. That's fantastic. I mean, like, and what's the signature dish in Nigerian food? Like, what's the
Hmm. Hmm. Well, the most popular one, the one everyone talks about, is the jollof rice. Yeah, so it's like that's the one
what's it
everybody. If
called?
you some jollof rice, yeah.
Jollof
So
rice.
everyone that has gone to Nigeria or has any affiliation with a Nigerian, the first thing they ask you is, "Do you like jollof rice? Have you tried jollof rice?" I'm like, "Yeah." So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, jollof is the one everyone keeps talking about, and
And do people eat
there's
it with
this one
ketchup or
called.
cheese?
Sorry.
Do people eat it with ketchup or cheese? Like, like sort of mustard sauce or
Eh,
like cheese sauce, like kind of in a way.
in Nigeria for the food for the jollof rice.
No, I'm talking about jollof rice in particular,
Ooh,
like cheese dips
ketchup
or
or
mayo dip.
nah, man, nah. That's ruining it. You can't do that to jollof rice. I mean, if you want to eat jollof rice, the best way to go is either with plantain or with beef or chicken. But don't do that ketchup stuff. I mean, some people could do it, but that's just wrong. That's a sacrilege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But no, no. Do
yeah.
it with a plantain or a chicken or a beef, even fish, fried fish. That's great too.
All right. So yeah, um, yeah. Talking about Nigeria, especially like I've been like getting into Afrobeats recently. Like
Mm,
I kind of like the music which is produced in the in the countries in your continent. Like it's
yeah.
I won't say it's revolutionary. It's just so simple that and it's so pleasant to listen to, especially
Oh yeah.
especially some of the music.
Well, I mean,
So what do you think about
Afrobeat,
music?
Afrobeat. Sorry, I didn't get that. Apologies.
No, I'm asking you, what do you think of music in Africa? Like African music, or the
Oh,
music which is produced in Africa.
oh yeah. I like that you use that term African music because there's been a little bit of I wouldn't say tension really because what everyone listens to or what everyone calls African music is Afrobeat. Like they kind of put them all in a bracket of Afrobeat, which is not really fair to the other genres of music produced in Africa because there's like a whole lot. But on my thoughts on African music, we have some of the best kind of music there is. Like just late last year, I was discovering some beautiful kind of music from Mali, Senegal, and all these other African countries that I never heard before. And it was so beautiful, so soothing. And I'm like, what have I been doing all my life? Why aren't people listening to this? Because this is so great. So African music is just plain beautiful. That's the word I'm going to use.
That's fantastic. Talking about that, I uh, so just recently I was watching the show on Netflix about the murder of Senzo Mahiwa, and he dated a singer called Kelly Kumalo, who was a singer in South Africa. Okay,
Oh
talking
yeah.
about that, yeah, it was an interesting story, but I don't want to get too much into the story itself because it's a bit
Mm,
towards the controversial side because of the details surrounding the situation. Even this is still
mm.
going on now, so yeah, uh, yeah, it was like a so it was a
I mean,
documentary which
I
I was
don't
watching on
know.
Netflix.
Yeah, I don't really know much about that documentary. I don't even know what it is, so I wouldn't have much input to give out on that. So yeah, maybe I'll check it out later after this interview at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it's a good idea to check it out. Okay, and so when you were uh, when you were in university, of course, studying performing arts, uh, what is the most profound thing that your teacher has told you, like any of your teachers, like any of your instructors has told you about the art, about acting or dance itself, or your life in general?
Ah, this one, I'm gonna. I mean, one thing that keeps coming to mind was what one of my lecturers said. I mean, people use it these days also. He said the KISS thing, keep it simple, stupid. That's one
Yeah, yeah,
profound thing that keeps coming to mind. So because me, I have the tendency to not drag on things. I like to keep things as simple as possible. So when he said that, it
yes,
kind of resonated with me, and I've
yes,
that has kind of influenced my work. I try as much as possible to
yeah,
make my work be as precise as possible, not to complicate it unnecessarily. If it has to be complicated or complex, the word shouldn't be complicated. If it has to be complex, then there'll be complexities, but don't complicate it. I'll make my work as precise and as simple as possible so people can understand it. Even if there is no particular ending to whatever story that I'm telling, it has to be
yeah,
simple at least. It has to be precise. I mean, I don't like using the word simple. It has to be precise and understandable. All right, because you don't want to
yes,
take the audience too far off from the story you're trying to tell.
yeah,
So
that's
that
true,
word,
that's true.
that those words, keep it simple, stupid. That's one thing that I
Yeah.
remember from my lecturer back in the day. There are a lot of things, but that's one that comes to mind right now.
All right, well, that's cool. um, and also how would you describe your friendships in university, uh, the people you have met in the environment which you learn performing arts, as you had the formative learning of performing arts in general, which
Oh, my friendship. I met some of my really closest friends. We're still friends to now in the university because they appreciated. We mostly did the same things because there's this set of friends that I had that our lecturer would always put us together for shows because we were performing right in university. We started from our first year, second year to start performing, professionally and all that. So there's this group of performers, friends of mine, that would go together and perform. We shared the same kind of love for the arts. So those guys, yeah, I cherish that relationship, and we're still friends now. And I learned a lot from them. I'm still learning from them, and they're some of the hardest workers I've ever met. And I tease them a lot, but I love those guys.
I know. It feels like I know sometimes when you move to a different country, it you start missing people that you love uh,
Mm,
back at home or back wherever else you met them. For example, yeah. As you know, some of friends are also flight attendants. They probably have met hundreds of people around the world and they miss them all around
I
the
think
world.
I lost you.
No, what I'm saying is no. What I'm saying is we know some people who work as flight attendants, so they must have met around many different people around the world who they miss and who are also in different parts of the world, so they don't know how to keep. They probably kind of keep track of them, but they don't. Also, I don't know.
Mm,
Yeah, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
then but then if you really think about it, like some of the friends that you make in university or when you're together for that period of time, it's so much fun to really
Mm,
bond with them. Even like I have a
yeah.
university friend of mine which I still speak to, who was like in New York for a long. We met in New York City, and I still speak to him like 5 years later, and we
Mm,
speak quite regularly. It's
mm,
and it's so strong. It's still the same. It's amazing what happens. Yeah,
yeah.
about that.
True.
Yeah.
Those friendships can really be helpful in your life. So it helps when you have such relationships with people like that because they've known you for a little bit and they can help you through whatever you're going through or your career or whatever, you know. So it's always very helpful to have university friends with you or at least keep in touch with the ones that you still talk to because with life, people just come and go, you know. So not everyone's going to stay, but the ones that you still have, it's a blessing to have
Oh,
them.
yes, yeah, that's true. That's absolutely right. Uh, so, okay, who are you closer to, your mother or your father? Like, who do you feel you're closer to?
Honestly, I have the same relationship with my parents. I like both of them. I don't have like a closer to this or closer to that. I'm a mommy's boy. I'm a daddy's boy. So that's me. I have the same kind of relationship. With my parents, I try as much as possible to go 50-50 because they be jealous sometimes. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
she's taking up so much of his time. Or my dad or my mom be like, oh, you're calling your dad alone and that. So as much as possible, I keep
yeah.
it 50-50, you know? So yeah, so that's the kind of relationship I have with my parents.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
moving on to your life in Dubai. So as I asked you this earlier, how did you come here to Dubai? So when and you talked about we all talked about it. But so what really happened when you first came to Dubai? Like, what do you have any story to share, or do you have anything like any moment that you remember in particular that you know which
I
kickstarts and
mean,
defines the start of your journey in Dubai?
me, I was just excited. I mean, it's a new city, right? I was just excited to explore the city. And luckily for me, I had family here, so I didn't have to be, lonely and all that. So I was just excited. I set out the minute I landed in Dubai. I set out to find the theater community. I just went on Facebook and researched, okay, what's happening here and all that. And then I met Penny McKenzie. She's the first person from theater that I met in here in Dubai,
That's fun.
and she helped me navigate this whole community that we now have in the UAE. So yeah, that's one thing I remember. Just being excited to be here, finding my people, which is the theater community, getting in touch with my community, and the rest, like they say, is history.
Oh, that's cool. That's really really good. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So like I was saying, okay. So talking about let's say you just start in the theater community in Dubai and
Mm.
all that. So how did you meet people who were interested in dance?
Oh, okay. That's huh. All right. I remember this one very well. So after I met Penny McKenzie, she was doing a play. She was doing a play with Sanjeev Dishit and Toby Mason. So I was assisting her as a director on the play. And during that play, Zoo Story, I got to meet Alex Brun at one of the days when we're staging the play. And Alex introduced me to Brent Jenkins, who at the time was directing the play Prelude to a Kiss, which had Assad, Arjun, DG, and a host of other people in it. So during Prelude to a Kiss, when they ask you to put when they ask for your bio, I put in my bio that I'm a dancer and all that, trained dancer and all that. At the end of the play, Prelude to a Kiss, Aishoria and Josh
Yeah,
of the Ripple Effect, they reached out to me. They came to me and like, yo, so we saw this, that you're a dancer, we have a show coming up, and that. And from there, my journey with the dance community started. So Aisharia and Joshua of the Ripple Effect were my first point of contact to the dance community here in the UAE. So yeah, that's how the dance business started. And then I've met like a host of amazing people through that. So that's
yeah.
how it started.
That's great. That's great, man. So, okay, okay. Talking about theater, right, or film, of any of the thing for that matter, which is the favorite? Which is your most favorite script that you have ever like come across that you have performed about?
Hmm.
Or maybe okay, let's say
uh,
script, or maybe even
any role that I've enjoyed. Is that what you mean? Did you say any role that I've enjoyed or something?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
Uh, let's see. So I have most of the work that I do, most of the performance that I do, I love them. But the one that the one that I loved the most, or should I say, the one that challenged me the most was this. This didn't happen in Dubai, by the way. This was back in Nigeria. It was my final year. So there's this play called "The Secret Lives of Babasegi's Wife." So I played two characters in that play, and that's
Okay,
to me, yeah, that was the most challenging role I ever played. That was the most challenging role I ever played. So and I got to learn a lot from that production. I learned a lot from the director. I learned a lot from the other actors there because amongst the whole cast, mind you, I was already 4 years in the industry at this time, but amongst the whole cast, I was still the green one. I was still the newbie, to the industry there. So everyone else there was like a professional. They've been doing it for years. And I
yeah.
had to play this role. It was a very dark role. And that was really difficult for me to achieve. But doing that particular role and working with that director and that cast, it made it so beautiful, and I had some of the best time of my life performing on stage. So yeah, I would say that
Yeah.
role or script has been my favorite one so far.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Uh, that's really interesting. I mean, okay. So, and what about your I mean, I've heard that you also do live sound as well. Like you're involved in this as well. So, what's that career like?
Live sound.
Yeah.
Oh, live sound. You mean like music and singing and stuff?
I mean, no, no, no. I mean, like live sounding shows and music and singing, everything. Yeah, you,
Oh well.
since
So my live events side. So
yes, yes, live
okay.
events. Yes.
So yeah, I do live events. This one actually started back in Nigeria, like all my all my art concern things. I think about 2022 or thereabouts, 2022,
Yeah.
2020, no, my bad, 2012, not 2022, 2012. I started a company.
Yeah.
back in uni to do concerts, to do musical shows, dance performances, because I was hungry for that. I had done a previous show, a
Yeah.
show like that the year before, but it wasn't going to continue. And I loved the feeling I had when I did that show, so I wanted to continue. So what I did was I talked to my
Yeah.
lecturer and some of my friends, and we put up our own concert. It was called MXD Entertainment. That was my company name. So we put up
Yeah.
shows like for like 2 years before I graduated, and then I moved to Dubai. And while I was working in the at the restaurant, I started to network, to get into the event space here. And yeah, I've been doing that. I've worked with like a few of the top companies here, which are really amazing, doing all this big events. And yeah, and I feel like I think in the future, I'd like to open a company here in Dubai to continue doing that. So
Yeah. 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 It's cool.
that has really been exciting and also challenging for me. But like I said, it's beautiful.
So, talking about live events, have you ever been involved in event management also, which are not live events, or uh, is it something we are willing to
Hmm.
explore soon, or how is it?
Event management that is not life events. Uh, well,
Yeah,
what do you mean, like corporate events or stuff like?
yeah, all these kind of things. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's true.
Hmm, I I can't really think I've been involved. I mean, I have done one or two exhibitions. I have worked in one or two exhibitions, and that really is not my speed. I like live events. The other parts of events, they're great, but it's just not my speed. But I have done them. I have done a few. None just comes to mind right now. But for me, generally, just the concept of event is really exciting for me because having to plan and put something into work, like planning and executing, that's just a beautiful thing for me.
Yeah,
So any kind of events I find myself in, either live or non-live event, it just I go with the flow and enjoy myself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. And I also knew that you went recently to be part of the Qatar 2022 World Cup.
Ah,
So, what was that experience like?
ooh, man, that was awesome. That was really something. That was amazing. That was amazing. The funny thing is, I'm not the biggest fan of watching football or anything like that, but just being there in the middle of it all was just exceedingly great. It was just I'm fine. I'm looking for the word to explain. Watching all these people that you sometimes see on TV, you're watching them live. Doing their thing, playing this game that so many people love so much, and being part of uh, the organizers of certain parts of it. So hey,
Yeah,
that was amazing. I don't know if I have the word to quantify what that feeling was. But I am really grateful that I had to do that. I had the opportunity to be in there, and I look forward to more of that in the future.
yeah. That's really interesting. Did you end up watching the World Cup final live as well, Lex, or were you working on something during the
I was too
during
no,
that time? Like,
I was too nervous to watch. I was too nervous to watch. I mean, I was there in the stadium. I could see the game, but I was too nervous to watch because it was a really tense game. And also, I didn't really care for it that much because I'm a big Ronaldo fan, and Ronaldo was not in the game anymore. So I was like, you know what, anybody can win. I'm just not gonna stress myself about it. But yeah, that was a
yeah,
really tense game. So any opportunity I got to go away from the stadium, I took it because I couldn't handle the stress. That's one of the reasons I don't watch football. I get too emotional and heartbroken when my team loses. So no, I did not watch it like most people did. What about you? Did you watch it? Did you
Uh,
travel to see it?
I watched the final. No, you know what happened? Okay, uh, I was supposed to go to Qatar for the final of the World Cup, which is Argentina versus France, which was an epic
Yeah.
final, by the way. But what happened was that I paid for my ticket. My hire card got rejected twice, so I couldn't go. Uh, anyway, I watched the final with John. So
That's fine.
we both watched the final together, and the final was amazing. It was just incredible when Kylian Mbappe scored a hat trick in the final.
Yeah.
It was just incredible watching it happen. So, and Argentina lifting the World Cup, obviously since Maradona, now Messi lifting the World Cup, it's a beautiful feeling to just watch one of the biggest legends of world football lift the World Cup. Uh, okay. Anyway, talking about that. Moving on. Uh, so, what's your biggest takeaway? In your professional life as an actor or in any kind of your live events, work or something. What's your biggest takeaway?
Hmm. My biggest takeaway is just it's quite cliche, really. In whatever you do, whatever it is, no matter how small, no matter how big it is, enjoy it. Enjoy it and do your best to give it your 150% if you can. And live there with a beautiful memory, live there with people feeling great, and live there with people feeling good about you. So that would be my biggest takeaway. It's important to enjoy what you do. It's important to give everything you have, whether or not you like it or not. Just give it everything you have, because you might not you're not really
Yeah,
doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for you. At the end of the day, how you going to feel um, when you leave that place? And my motto in life is this: do unto others as you want others to do unto you. So every time I have to make a decision, that's what I'm always thinking about. So love what you do, give it your 150%, and leave a place with people feeling good about you and what you did. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's great. And what
Thank you.
really is better than who you are today?
Sorry.
What inspired you as a person to be better than who you were in the past?
Well, everyone I come across inspires me one way or the other. You don't know it. I learn from everyone I come across. Yeah, I'll tell you. I think I probably told you this before, but I saw you one time. The first time I met you, I think you were doing comedy. I
Yes.
think you were doing a comedy show or something like that. I'm like, you walked in the room. I'm like, okay. That must have taken a lot of guts, because you said it was your first time. I think if I remember correctly, you said it was your first time, and you walked in with the confidence of 1,000 men. I'm like, I cannot do that, but that inspired me to get out of my shell a little bit, to try things that scared the crap out of me. Because when I saw you, I'm like, this guy just walks in. It's your first time. You walk in with confidence of 1,000 men. I don't even know if you were nervous or not, but what I could see, you exuded confidence. So that's one of the things that inspires me.
Thank
And
you
like
so
a
much.
whole lot of other people, you're welcome, my guy. And a whole lot of other people that I've met or have seen. So basically, almost everyone that I see or meet or have an interaction with inspires me. And most of all, I inspire myself. I try as much as possible to inspire myself. So yeah, like that. That's it. Everyone I come across has inspired me one way or the other, either negatively or positively.
Yeah, it's cool. That's great. Uh, okay, so what is the most important quality that you think you want to build up in yourself to become a better person?
Oh, kindness. Kindness is my number one priority. Like always be kind. It's one thing that I want to get better at. To become a better person, better human being. I need to work on being kind. I mean, it's not the easiest thing because the world is a very tricky place. But
Yeah.
with a little bit of kindness, I think that we're gonna be all right. Everyone's gonna be all right because, like they say, you don't know what someone is going through. So yeah, I'm trying to be more kind, more attentive, and yeah, let's see if that gets me anywhere good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great. That's great. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So, my final question before we round this off. So, if you had to choose between being
Mm.
wealthy or being famous, what would you choose?
If I'm famous, do I
And
get to
why?
have money?
Anything? Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't know. You decide. Decide that.
No, I mean, okay. Let's see. If I had to choose between being famous or being wealthy, uh, that's a very tricky one. All right, I'll choose wealthy. I'll choose wealthy, and my reason being that when I'm wealthy, I'm assuming I'll probably have power. I'm assuming
Okay.
I'll probably have some kind of power. And having that power, I think I can make a lot of change. And with my money, I could actually make real change. Like there's so many people that don't have food or clothes in their back.
Yeah.
I could pay that
Yeah.
off. There's so many orphans there. I could build a lot of charities, to take orphans or people that abuse, get them therapy, things like that. I mean, being famous, it's great. It's perfect. But like being wealthy, I actually have substance. I have resources that I can use to take care of those around me because that's like my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is not necessarily to be the richest person in the world. It's just to have just about enough to be financially stable that I can take care of myself, those around me, and anyone that I come across that needs my help. So I'll choose being wealthy. I mean, being famous is
Yeah.
great, but money good, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, wealth all day, every day. Generational wealth, actually, generational wealth. Got to build generational wealth so that my children's will have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. That's true. That's true. All right.
What about you? What will
Thank
you
you
do
so.
before we round up? What would you choose?
Yeah.
Famous or being wealthy?
Yeah. Oh, I would choose being famous with relative wealth because you have both the
That's a good
money
one.
and the connections to
Yeah, I
that.
didn't know I
Okay,
had that option. I
because
didn't know
you
I
have
had that
the money
option.
and
But
the
it's good.
connections to be. Yeah, you have both the money and the connections to really maximize your life and benefit your life as much as possible. Like
True.
I would rather be famous enough. Like I want. Would you rather aspire to be a huge star in Bollywood or something? Okay, yeah, maybe you would. But the sweet spot for me would be somewhere like working in a web series, which blows up
Mm,
on you know on some streaming platform, and like
mm.
work on other projects. But yes, I know that being famous is also like nice. It feels good in the moment. But I've also seen the dark side
Yeah.
of fame in my personal life. So on a relative scale. So because of that, I think that I would rather be famous enough and have enough money to just sort of to live sort of
Mm.
obscurely enough. I don't know if that makes sense. If that makes sense, but
Yeah, it does make sense,
uh,
my guy. It does make sense. Yeah.
yeah, like I'll give you an example. You'd rather be a person working in CSI and staying in New York as a working actor
Mm.
because that pays you enough. You're also a working actor as a SAG actor, SAG after actor, and you're living in one of
Mm.
the biggest cities in the world, with best and biggest cities in the world, New York City, with total anonymity. I mean, what how do you not aspire to be that? Like,
I mean, it does sound nice. I mean, I don't mind that, but I don't
yeah.
mind that.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you
well.
something about LA, by the way. A lot of people in LA do aspire to be famous, yeah. But
Mm,
some people are like, uh, they are so close, but yet so far away from being famous that it completely frustrates them and makes them act in ways which are so sometimes uncharacteristic to themselves. You know. So I don't know
mm.
if you've been to the US. If, like that is,
Nah, man, I ain't been there. I've never been to the US, but it's on my bucket list sometime in the future. I mean, that's where Hollywood is, so
yeah,
gotta go there at some point. But not, I
yeah,
haven't been
yeah,
there yet.
yeah. It's true.
Lovely
Anyways,
answer,
so
Saj. Yeah,
thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, Chineme. I really
thank you for
appreciate
having me,
it.
man.
We had a great chat together. And yeah, thank you for watching and listening to the Sahaj Tales podcast. Here is your host, Sahaj Oberoi, signing off. And bye bye.
Bye.